Welcome back to Real Community Talks, actually the first episode of season 2 of RCT, where we meet with micro level influencers doing macro level things. I'm your host, Matt DeSilva, and on today's episode, it is an absolute honor to have the host of one of my favorite podcasts on the show today, Ms. Jodianne Beckford, aka I Go By Jo, aka the E Project. E Project fans though, it's so good to have you here today, Jodianne.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome intro. I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm like, yo, this is the first episode. I gotta be hyped now. But I'm honestly, I'll get into it later. But so blessed by her work and her labor and her podcast. And RCT wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for like checking out her stuff. So it is an honor to have you here. Like,
thank you.
So for those two-ways people that don't know who you are, and I don't know why they wouldn't, Jodianne is the creator, host, publicist, and owner of literally one of the hottest, most relevant entrepreneur podcasts in our country, the E Project. Has been a personal care worker for 10 years, working with people of various disabilities, and specifically with a focus on individuals with autism. She attended Durham College and earned a diploma in early childhood education and a PSW certificate. She is a photographer, a videographer, a creative director, worked as an administrative assistant, eventually project manager for Godzspeed Communication. Did I say that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is an associate in the TMZ program at Ryerson U, right?
Mm-hmm.
And among many other things, she is a singer, a writer, entrepreneur, actor, freelancer, an awesome cook. Like legit, watch her IG stories if you don't believe me. She is an influencer, a workshop facilitator, has been featured in multiple publications, a public speaker, a panelist, an event host, has volunteered for the Salvation Army Food Bank, and in my opinion, the queen of networking and connecting people. Did I miss anything?
Well, the singing part in my head. I added it because everyone knows, like, I love to sing. Well, people that know me, but I say I'm a singer in my head because I have no pitch. Like, it's like, no, it's dead.
I have like a karaoke voice. Like, it's nice when everyone's had a bit of alcohol, but
Yes.
after that, but yeah.
And the volume's really high. I'm like amazing.
Yeah. So before we get into it, this podcast could have been entirely different because apparently, you could have you came second place in a baby beauty contest and probably could have been like the face of Gerber baby products. So like, what happened? Why didn't your parents let you continue your modeling dreams?
My mom didn't want to pay that deposit.
It's like, where that gas money though? It's like, nah, the deposit money wasn't there still.
No, my mom was like, I asked her so many times because this is when I was living in Florida. So I was born in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm actually American.
Jeez.
So I have dual citizenship, but I've
Okay.
never, ever really taken advantage of it until like maybe recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did the baby contest and I won, but it was like third place, I believe. And my mom was like, they asked her if I could continue. Like, they're like, oh, we want to put her in other things, even though she didn't win. Like, we think she'd be really good.
Yeah.
She's like very easy. She doesn't cry a lot. And she's like, okay. And then I guess they showed her the fees that would come along with it and the deposit or whatever it is back then in the 80s. And she's like, no.
And I feel like I'm not, maybe not all of them, but I've heard like horror stories where like, I mean, essentially like you're basically putting your whole life aside for this baby, and then it's like they just misuse, like that baby has no life because they're just like this like superstar, right? But I guess your life turned out okay, right?
I mean, it turned out okay. I think I'm leading up to that lost opportunity, it's okay.
All right, so with that, why don't we segue into what's your origin story? So who is Jodianne Beckford and where are you from? Obviously, you said Fort Lauderdale, but where are you at right now?
So right now I live in Oshawa.
No ratings. No, I'm joking.
No, zero ratings.
Yo, that network and net worth group, that's the biggest like argument is like West End, East End, Durham region.
We don't even exist. I don't want to say I'm from Oshawa. But anyways, I live in Oshawa. Everyone thinks I live in Toronto, including you.
Because you're always here.
I know, I am. It's so funny. But my origin story. So I grew up, like I said, I was born in the States. When I moved to Canada, I was living in Toronto for a little bit. And then that was very short-lived.
Yeah.
My dad was like, no, I'm not. You're just not growing up in the hood. And he couldn't afford Richmond Hill. So we moved to Whitby, lived there for a few years, and then we settled in Oshawa, and that's paid pretty much from like grade 4 and up. And that was interesting. That was, I want to say, one of the worst times of my life was growing up in Oshawa.
Why?
Yeah, because it was very racist.
Yeah.
I was probably one of 2 Black people in my grade.
Wow.
And then one of 4 Black people in the entire school.
Yeah.
So I dealt with a lot of racism. I dealt with a lot of educational like negative, like education was very negative to me
Yeah,
because I read at a very early age. I knew my alphabets like frontwards, literally backwards, because I'd recite them. I knew my numbers. I knew like a lot of things.
Yeah.
But when I started school, and I was in a Catholic school at first.
Yeah.
For some reason, they were like, oh, because I was also very hyper.
Yeah.
I was a very hyper kid, very happy and like whatever. So they thought something was wrong with me. So they had diagnosed me or told my parents, we think she has, we're pretty sure she has a learning disability. Maybe autism.
What?
Something, but yeah, a disability. So my parents, God bless my parents, but like at that time, my parents, they're educators. So they're going to believe them. But again, it's very confusing for them because it's like, but we know like she's smart. Like we don't but if they're saying this, okay, maybe we have to listen to them. Yeah. So because of that, I was put into special needs classes.
Really?
So from like kindergarten to grade 9, I was in all special ed classes.
Wow.
So I was only in a regular class for maybe an hour a day, maybe 2 hours. So that like totally ruined my self-esteem, totally ruined my thought process and just how I viewed my brain and how I just viewed my, like, if I was my intelligence, basically.
Yeah.
So that kind of just diminished it. So it actually, in a sense, I started actually pretending to be more dumb.
Really?
So things that I didn't understand, like I generally didn't understand, but there's things that I knew, but I would actually pretend I didn't know because I'm like, if people are telling me, and it's so funny at a young age, I knew how to do this. So I'm like, so I really wasn't dumb at all. So
smart.
Literally, so I would like things I would know, I just pretend I didn't know. I'd be like, oh, what's that? And then, so the teachers were like, oh, she's really like, underdeveloped. So I kind of screwed myself over probably even more.
Holy.
But yeah, so that was like a hard for me, and people make fun of me because of course I'd have a special teacher.
Yeah.
I was in a special class. So that was really, really rough growing up with that and just believing like I'm really dumb for like until high school. So imagine going into high school with that.
That's where you get like, oh my God, you get destroyed in high school.
Grade 9.
Wow.
So then I went through that all through grade 9, and then I had the chance to exempt out of it to grade 10.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm definitely gonna exempt out of it. Like, let me just try and see what I can do. It's like I'm like I can't still be dumb.
Yeah.
So I exempted out of it, and I wanted to go for academic, but they said no, just do applied because it's easier and just do that. I'm like, okay. So for English, my English actually and chemistry were my 2 best subjects.
Yeah. Wow.
And some math, but mostly chemistry and English. So yeah, and then going into that, when graduating, fast forward into graduating, they said, oh, you should apply for something very easy because your grades are not like this, like the highest. I had like 80s in English. My lowest grade was like a 55. That was like in civics class or whatever.
Yeah, that's boring.
And it was just very discouraging, like telling me, that's why I actually applied for ECE, because they told me you can't do anything else. Because I said I wanted to be a teacher, surprisingly. And I said, because I didn't want people to feel how I felt. So I felt like maybe I could help a kid, see their, just to see what they can do and make them feel better about themselves. Because I had such a negative experience. And they're like, no, take ECE because it's easy. You can work at daycare. You can take care of kids forever. And I'm like, okay, like the dummy. And so I applied, I got in, and then I did it, and I felt like I was really cheating myself. Like after, like I didn't really understand it at the time, but then thinking back, I'm like, I felt like I definitely cheated myself and really listening to them, because I just kept listening to people that I was not that smart. So it was just ingrained in me that like, even till now, like I have like times where I'm like, I just don't think I'm smart. And only a couple years ago, after moving to Ottawa, that's where I was working with Godspeed. My cousin really, like, he challenged me a lot, my cousin Thomas, and he really like pulled it out of me to let me know that no, you are smart. Look at all the things you've done without going to school for them. I've helped you with photography, but you learned most of it on your own. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it's just crazy what like people can make you and brainwash you to believe that you are, and then come to believe that like you're none of those things.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that, because like knowing you, and I mean, knowing your footprint online, no one would ever tell that about you. Not that it's like you have to have a certain type of lifestyle for people to know your background. Yeah. But wow, that's powerful, because I would like, like, and I say this with saying like, oh, with someone with a disability, like some things are more visible than they are, but I would have never. But the thing is, that's the crazy thing is labels are so powerful. Like if someone said that when you were in what, kindergarten, and that took you all the way to grade 9,
yeah,
and that wasn't what you struggled with, like that's crazy to me. And that this is what I tell like my youth in this area too. It's like you guys are living out a label and identity that one person said over you. And I'm not saying that, you know, people always have that emotional strength to deal with it, but it's like it's powerful. Our words are so powerful. Like even just for me, like reading the Bible, it says there's power, life and death in the power of the tongue. What you say is so, like, you need to be so careful with what you say. And like that, I mean, you are doing great in what you do, and I think our pain and our past really puts us like on a different pathway, maybe so than just being successful does. Like it helps us, it molds us. But I mean, like that's crazy. Like you could have been somewhere different or even more accelerated just because those years kind of tripped you up, because it boxed you in. It put you in, you know, a certain set of limitations. But the fact that you are who you are and what you do is, it's like, screw you guys. Like my brother when he was in school, like they tried to label him and they said never go to high school. The man graduated with like multiple scholarships, is doing a child and youth worker degree right now, and like the man studies his word like no tomorrow. Like I look up to him and he's my little brother. So
that's amazing.
Labels don't define you. I'm sorry if that's cheesy, but it's true though.
They really, man, they can affect you if you really allow them to. And at a young age, you don't know what else, like, if you don't have a certain mindset. And I had a very weak mindset as a child. I was very easily influenced. If someone told me something, I believed. I was very gullible. So I was just that kid that I respected authority to the max. Yeah.
So let's talk the E-Project, which, as I said, I endorse entirely. You guys should go check it out in the description now. Like, leave this podcast and just go to the E-Project.
No, listen and check out his other ones too.
But like I said this in another one before. It says, you know, Bill Gates started Microsoft in a garage, right? Can you pinpoint maybe one or two places or that moment where you're just like, I'm doing the E-Project, or like I have this idea for this podcast?
Oh, that's deep.
I'm like, recall.
Oh, man. Okay, so the E-Project was actually a blog first. So I started it in 2015. And at the time, I was living in Ottawa. It was actually one of the most depressing, negative times in my life. I know this is like a huge thing now, but like I've dealt with anxiety and depression my entire life.
Yeah.
Like even as a child, like I've tried to commit suicide 3 times.
Wow. Yeah.
And one time I actually almost did it, but my mom called the doctor. Wow. I took some pills. Okay. So that was like the grace of God. Like I don't even, So it's been rough. Yeah. So at that time I just needed something to inspire me, because where I was living, I was going through a lot of family things. This was in Ottawa. And I just needed something to inspire me again. I just needed something to basically keep me motivated. So I'd been meeting a few creatives in the city, and I had made some friends as well. So I had reached out to people, to see if I could interview them, just like questions of like what they're doing, why they're doing it, just, you know, whatever. And then I would take their photo because I'm a photographer. And then there's something about, like, I love poetry and I love tangible things. I love writing things down. Yeah. So I would, I purchased a book. So I would get them to also write like a message in the book of encouragement, basically, for like someone else to read, or even myself. Because it was a selfish project. Yeah. So fast forward, 2017, 2016, I was trying to think of another way that people could reach the the project rather than just reading it, because the blog, I didn't really know much about SEO and all that stuff. I just kind of like put it out there. But my friend had mentioned podcasts and like audio, and I had literally just started listening to podcasts. So I was like, but I didn't go to school for journalism. I don't know how to talk on a podcast. Like, what is that? So she's like, just do it, just try. I'm like, okay. So basically my first episode, I reached out to this guy named Mike Russo, which is the founder of Ox God.
Shout
So
outs to him.
right, I love Mike. He's so cool. So he was my first episode, and even that, the prep was like I wrote down some questions,
Yo, that's
and I
dope.
was like,
That's
"Hey,
dope.
let's record."
Yeah, that's dope.
So I got a chance to record in a studio at a community center, which was referenced from a girl, and her name is Natasha. I'm saying a girl, like I don't know her. Natasha Shepherd, the owner and founder of Curl Shop.
Wow.
So she's one half. Natasha. Rowan is the other half. So I'd gotten that opportunity, recorded in the studio with Mike, and just kind of like snowballed from there.
That's amazing.
I didn't prepare for the
Wow.
podcast. I didn't research. I just listened to like 3 podcasts, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I could do this.
I could do-
You know what? That's how podcasts start. Like I see some people even use Anchor and they're just using their iPhone mic and they're just talking.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I don't want to be like super extreme like Gary Vee, and he's just like, shoot on whatever you have. And it's just, I mean, I'm an
Yeah.
audiophile. I like my thing, but I mean, it's true. Like,
I mean, look at your setup.
if you have, I know, right? Can you tell? No, I'm not intense. But no, it's true. And I think, like, I think your show is like, to know that that was like how it started and how like professional and like aesthetically good it looks. Like one thing I hate about my podcast is like I'm not the best with like editing and like page look, but like your page, like it looks like either I'm looking through like I don't know, like some super like mom pop like shop in Bloor and Ossington in Toronto that's like a sunglasses shop. Anyways, the editing is so good. Like it's so good. Like it's like nice popping colors and like whites and blacks. I'm like, that's why I'm trying to like have my show look good like yours, but I can't.
Yours looks good though.
Okay. The content is good, but like I need to work on the aesthetics. Your page is like curated well. So
you know what's so funny? I'm always so like stressed about my page, and I'm like, I hate how it's curated, and me and O'Shane have had many not arguments but discussions, and I'm like, I hate my page, and he's like, you're so dramatic.
Your page is so good because you do like the photos, then you do the quotes, and then you pop colors, like you do like a pink, you do like a yellow, you do like that. I need to get to that
journey.
I need to get to that level.
And I have no graphic design skills, so
Really?
all of that has been like just trial and
it.
error and looking
Wow.
at other things for inspiration and
That's
trying to
amazing.
make it my own. So
That's amazing.
thank you for that, because it's been like
No, thank you, because when I so obviously, like, as someone who wanted to start a podcast, I had to do my research and see what I wouldn't be repeating, because I don't ever want to be that guy. So I literally went on Instagram, I went on Google, and I typed in podcast Toronto, podcast Mississauga, this, and yours was one of the first ones that showed up, and I looked at it and I'm like, whoa, why am I even coming into this again? Because there's so much competition out here. But like, I was listening into it, and I was telling someone this week that one of the reasons that kicked me in the butt to actually start was every day when I would not every day, Wednesdays when I would go to York, I'd drive on Steeles, and I just take the long way because I like long drives even though there's traffic. I'd listen to your podcast. I think the first one I listened to was the one with Benny Bing, and I was just scrolling and I'm like, okay, I don't know any of these people. Not like they're not popular, just for me, I'm just this guy in Malton, so I have no idea. I wasn't on social media that much. and then I saw, and like the fact is, like, the pictures come up and it's really good. Like that like aesthetics, boom, fire. But the pictures are so good too, and you mix that in there. And I clicked it and I listened to Benny Bing, and he was talking about like how that life as an entrepreneur, and even like sometimes you can forget to like take a shower sometimes and do it like and how that affects you. And I was just thinking like, oh man, I wish I could start my podcast. I wish I could do a YouTube. But like that episode and that podcast really inspired me. So you guys are benefiting off of the backs of people who've been doing it. But yeah, I saw yours first.
Thank you.
So one thing I wanted to ask was, like, when you started your show, was there a gap that you were trying to fill, or a problem that you wanted to solve through your show? Like, what was missing that you think your show adds? It doesn't have to be super profound.
Yeah.
Like for me, my whole thing was like, I feel like people just are so fake, and they don't talk real, and they don't value real community talks.
Yeah.
Right? So like, because I don't know if it's too deep, but like for
no,
me,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like, I feel like one thing I noticed, like, someone was asking like, oh, what's their podcast about? I said, like, it talks like entrepreneurs and just their process and stuff. But I said, one thing I kind of noticed, and I don't know if it's your thing, but you elevate a lot of minority population people who, and it's not like you do have some Caucasian people, but you have
Trickles
black
of Asian there.
and brown and everything like that. But like,
Yeah.
that's the focal point, and you never see that anywhere. So I don't know if that was like a gap you were trying to fill, but
You know what's so interesting? That was a beautiful accident. I've always just wanted to interview everybody.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody deserves to be highlighted. But as a Black person, as a Black woman, I just
dope people.
I was like, I just kept finding amazing, dope, and they just happened to be Black entrepreneurs. And I was like, and I wouldn't even think about it. I would just interview them or reach out to them. And then I guess over time, I would like see like someone actually mentioned it to me and actually pointed out like, oh, you have a Black podcast. I was like, I was like, I mean, I know I'm Black. I was like, no, I don't. I interview everybody. And then I was like, I looked at my feed. I'm like, oh, I see why you'd say that.
Yo, I can't lie. Sometimes I'm like, okay, get a brown man's, get a white man's. And it's like, you just want to make it look like the United Nations.
You know what I mean? And then I was just like, oh, I'm like, but you know what? I just keep finding dope Black people.
That's a good thing.
And I mean, of course, there's dope white people. There's dope everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it was just literally a beautiful accident.
Wow.
But the premise, what you were asking about, like why I'm even doing the project in a sense, for me, it was a very selfish project. I wanted something to heal me and make me feel better and encouraged.
Yeah.
But in conjunction with that, I know what it feels to kind of feel almost invisible and not seen. And my thing was not that these people that I'm interviewing aren't being seen.
Yeah.
But I just like highlighting people and just elevating and just really just making them feel amazing. Not saying they don't already feel amazing, but I just want to just, give them more exposure. Any way I can help. Doesn't matter. I'm not Oprah, but I want to like do what I can.
Yeah.
So, because I just know that feeling of like feeling less than and just feeling like you're not good enough, and
like if you don't have 100,000 followers.
Yeah,
on IG,
exactly. Because I've never reached out to somebody because they had like mad followers. I've interviewed people that have had like 400 followers to maybe 20,000 followers. Like I don't care. I go based off quality, what you do, and the impact that you're having based off what you do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to ask your advice. How do you say no to a potential guest? Because not trying to judge, but I'm getting all of like these like waste man rappers who are like posting up cash and things, and like they're putting like the money sign emoji over their pics. Like it's horrible. Like how do you say no without like, ruining your reputation or remaining professional?
I've had to learn that.
Yeah.
So luckily I haven't had to do it too much. But my no is not a definitive no. It's more like not right now. So I also created a page on my website for submissions.
Okay.
So I never had that before. And let me tell you, when I created that, it saved my life. So anyone that reaches out to me on a DM, say their waste or whatever it is, like, because some people just want to be highlighted just for the sake of being highlighted. They're not even doing any. They're like, yeah, I'm going to start this thing. Or like, I don't know. But it's like, there's not really a lot of impact there. And you can see they just want to have it. Yeah, they just want to have exposure. So I was like, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. I really appreciate it. We actually have a submissions page. The link is in our bio, and I can provide it here as well. Fill out the form, and then I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Because I do have other like interviews already prepped. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, they won't fill out the form. They're not serious.
Smart. Because when you add an extra step, it's like, I
don't want to do it.
Yeah. It's like Charlemagne, when Gary Vee told him to make the link to his book one link instead of following 2 separate links, he's like, it actually bumped up his sales. So people won't go through a secondary thing just to do it, right? They're that lazy. So smart. So let's talk entrepreneurialism. Like, obviously you worked as a PSW for a bit, but like what maybe good or bad thing happened for you to be like, I want to make money for myself, like doing my own thing? Like what led you to that kind of income earning?
So I still work.
Okay.
I still work as a and it's DSW. So I work with developmental disabilities. So that's with autistic, like we said earlier.
Okay.
So I'm technically a freelancer. I'm not a full-time entrepreneur. I'd love to be, but sometimes it feels like it because I do photography a lot, like pretty much full-time, and now I'm doing video. But I feel like having both, it's good because my full-time job feeds my freelance work.
That's true. Pays for equipment.
It pays for equipment. So I like having the flexibility of both. But definitely I'm working towards just being full-time photography, and I think not just putting myself in a box of just being a photographer. I want to be a brand, like a household name. I don't want to
Yeah.
just be Jodianne Beckford Photography, which I'm hoping to change. I want to, maybe it's Beckford Media, whatever it is, because I have so many different things that branch off of that.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. Like on my personal page, I used to be that guy that posted everything with the horrible filters and like literally like my food that I'm eating and like I just got a pair of kicks like a waste man. But like now I'm trying to add more aesthetic, right? So like I'm trying to post like pictures and quotes and like videos, but like trying to make it look neat. But the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to brand myself as Matt DeSilva because I'm getting more speaking opportunities. I'm a podcaster. And I have like my photography page, but like I don't want to have 5 business cards. I just want to like, you know,
just have
be one thing. And like if you're hiring me for consulting, it's all on one card. It's all one image, right? So I definitely understand that.
And wait, can we just take a moment to appreciate the man that Matt is? Because you've done a few speaking engagements that I've been able to see, like not in person but online, with youth. And the way that you remind me of E.T. Thomas.
Yeah.
Like when you're not as like rough as him. He's pretty intense. You're like the calmer version of him. But it's so powerful the way that you speak to these youth. And you can see the passion coming, like exuding from your body.
Yeah.
And they're just like they're just like glued to you. And that's not youth now.
Yeah.
Like teenagers.
They don't rate anything.
Yeah. And like that's so you have something special.
Wow. Thank you. Wasn't expecting that. Thank you. No, and you know what? I've really been loving do that. Loving. I don't even know what language am I speaking right now. I really love to do that because when I was a youth worker for government, I could speak confidently on like, okay, I'm teaching you how to do a resume and I'm teaching you this. But then when it's my life, I actually have to be very precise and succinct, like planning, like what am I going to say to them, right? Because I'm not at that place where I could just go natural. I still got to make notes and talk like that. But it's so powerful because you think that your message isn't landing on any of them. And then some of them, rightfully so, like they would they'd snicker, they'd laugh, whatever. If I got a little bit too like intense, sometimes I have to like not be so deep all the time. Like they probably think I'm just faking it. But like 1 or 2 people came up after me and they're like, they didn't hear anything of my whole talk, but the one thing they heard was, I went through a breakup too, and like I'm in year 3 of being single now, and I'm still dealing with it. Like what you said, I needed to hear. I'm like,
wow.
As I know like our heads think for the masses, but like that one is so worth it. And it's like it's so worth it. Like if I had to prepare that and give away my shift just to speak here for free, I spoke into a life. And you know what? Another one of the teachers says they might not hear it now, but like years later, it might be going through their head now, but years later they're gonna think of that and they'll be like, we never know who we're impacting. Like on a daily basis, and they might come to us years later. They might never come to us.
Exactly.
But they've taken that words of wisdom and they might have used that as a framework to where they're going to today, right? So
it just takes that one person to believe in you. Honestly, it makes a world of a difference.
That's why I feel like with our podcasting, it's like we're literally changing perspectives and lives to a new person, even if it's one new downloader every episode that we drop, right? So this is my self-care too, because like I was so excited to get back into it. I'm like, okay, I took like 3-4 months off, which was needed. And like, to be honest, if you ask me what I did to plan for season 2, I didn't do anything. I literally watched Netflix, watched YouTube, chilled, played video games. I have like 4 video games that I still have to finish, but I did nothing. I went on season 1 like, yeah, I just need this break to recharge, and we're just gonna plan and just gonna develop the show. I'm using the same rapid fire questions, okay? So don't judge me. But you know what? Like I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be back in the game because it literally helps with my self-care, with even my own healing. And like the cool thing is, it's like even though I know you guys to an extent, and even though these are questions, it's like it feels like I'm gaining and getting value out of what you guys are saying. Even though like you get into like that podcaster mode where you're just like super zoned in, like I'm taking it in, even if it doesn't look like I am.
No, this is dope. What you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
Your podcast is very impactful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So something that people might not know about you is that even though you're often in the spotlight, you like you mentioned a little bit, like you're an introvert, you're really shy, you prefer being alone. So talk about that for my introverts out there. Like, how do you deal with that, considering the nature of like your work, your speaking engagements, your commitments? Like, how did you get past that?
I didn't.
I like that.
I'm so like, even right now I'm like squeezing my hand. I get so nervous talking, and I still don't know how I have a podcast today. Like the fact that I let people hear my voice. I actually think I have one of the most annoying voices in the world.
Don't. Relax.
No, I do though.
I'm gonna be O'Shane. Relax yourself, okay?
Oh my God. I actually just heard O'Shane. So, but I just force myself. It's like I can't even talk. I force myself to do it. And there's a quote. I feel like everyone knows this quote: "On the other side of fear is greatness," or something like that.
Yeah.
So I try to do things that scare me. Sometimes I actually lose opportunities because I'm so self-conscious and so scared that I just don't do it, and I won't go where I've literally missed like really good opportunities because of my fear. And I recognize that, and I'm trying to push myself daily.
Yeah.
So if I have to do, like, if I'm going on a panel or something, like, I can prepare to my face is blue or whatever, but I'm still going to be nervous and probably fumble on my words.
Yeah.
And speaking is one of my most, that's probably like where I lack confidence.
It's like your Achilles heel.
It's my, definitely, speaking. Because I didn't do well with speaking as a kid. I reading, great. But speaking, because I was told so many different things, me and words never really, I could write words down, but when it came to speaking, I would always take zeros in class. I would never do a presentation. I would like be glad to get the zero. Always. I never did the one time I did a presentation, I had an anxiety attack and I had to leave the class.
Yeah.
And that was so embarrassing. Or another time I actually broke down crying in front of the class.
No, I
couldn't
understand
do it.
that, yeah.
So it's like, it goes really deep for me. Like public speaking is like one of my biggest fears. Like I start sweating. It's like, so I really, the fact that if I do any, like even the live podcast, I have no idea. I think I was on drugs. I have no idea how I did that live podcast.
Such a good event. I remember I was messaging her, I think the day before, and she's like, yeah, I'm preparing my notes like the night before or something like that. And I'm like, you couldn't even tell that she prepared, like she killed it. And like, that, sorry to interrupt you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But like, that's something I really want to do with the show eventually, a live event one day. But like continually you're inspiring people. Like that was so dope. And like how you brought people how you brought people to find parking in Toronto, first of all, to come there, and just like she had like patties and like good food and like networking, and I'm like, I need to do one of those. It's such a good event.
We should do one together.
Yeah, we should. Okay. E-Project and RCT collab.
Right?
Okay,
that'd be a dope event.
Yeah. So one thing I like to ask on the show, if any, not to be religious, but what role has maybe your beliefs or your faith played on your life in where you are today, or maybe just like as you see the world?
Oh man, it's impacted it massively. Like when I mentioned earlier about the suicide. Yeah. So when the time that it actually, like I thought I actually really did it, that I regretted it right after. Every time I've tried to do it, I've always regretted it because I'm like, I'm going to hell. That's not fun.
Yeah. Straight.
I'm like, okay. But then it's like, it's really twisted because I've been like, oh, if I could just do it but not go to hell, that'd be great. You know, just give me a blind God. Yeah. But it doesn't work like that. You know, it doesn't work like that. He's like, nah, fam. Sorry. Follow the rules.
I like to hope that God speaks in a Toronto man's accent. Because like, I don't think he's going to be like some man in a white beard. Like, yo, true. You go O'Shane like, yeah, yo, true say.
You know? Oh my gosh. But no, definitely all jokes aside, he's played a major part, and he saved me more than once. Like I've been through some pretty rough relationships, things when I was a kid. I've been sexually abused when I was really young. I used to lock me in the basement.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for like hours, and I'd like spend sometimes a whole night in there. Wow. And that was like really young, like that was like kindergarten, so it was like rough. And maybe my biggest, and I've actually never said this like on but my biggest, I'm smiling because I'm like nervous. This is what I do. My nervous smile, what I do. My biggest thing that I've gone through is that when I was 18, I had an abortion. And probably like 3 people know this. Wow. And when I was 16, I was raped. Wow. So that's how I lost my virginity. Yeah. So those things, when I look back at it, I'm like, why, God? But then like I get angry, and then I'm like, I guess it's definitely made me stronger. Like I've questioned my faith. Yeah. But then I'm like, there has to be a reason. Like he wouldn't allow me to go through these things if there wasn't a purpose, or like if my story couldn't help or heal someone else. Yeah. So I've never, it's so weird. I've never said this on like audio or like I've told, like I have really close friends. My mom doesn't even know. that I was
Wow.
raped. Yeah, my mom doesn't know that. And like, so, and even when I was a kid being sexually abused by like family members, my mom doesn't know that either. So those things, and like I have regret when it comes to abortion a lot, but those things I really just, I have like that. I think that ties in with my anxiety a lot, and that made my depression worse. But I'm like, there has to be God, because if there wasn't, I don't think I would really physically be alive, or how I even went through that, and like am the person that I am now. Yeah. Because I have days where like I'm really sad, but then I think, like, I don't know. I just like whenever I think of him, or like if I read a word, or even if I just cry, I feel better. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's still healing. So God is like he's everything to me. As much as our relationship isn't the best, like I'm not like super religious, or and when I say super religious, like I'm not like out preaching or anything. So I'm still every day building my relationship with him, because for me that's really important. But I know at the end of the day, no matter what I go through, he's gonna be there for me.
You know, what do you say to someone, like it's the age-old question, like, God, why did you let this happen to me? Yeah. Like, there's nothing that you can say to comfort someone there. And you know, I always say, like, as a Christian, like, the way you show love and the way you live your life is the more powerful message than that strongly worded speech just to be right. Like, okay, you're an atheist, I'm going to prove you wrong. No, like it's stronger to show them love. But one thing I love that I think it's C.S. Lewis. I'll correct it right here if I'm wrong. But he said pain is God's loudest megaphone. And it's like, even and the thing is, like, you know, when we're like, God, why did this happen and stuff like that. And one thing I try to remember, I'm like, you know, we live in a fallen world. Like, we live in a world where God allows us to make choices. It doesn't mean that they're always the best ones. But God does. I don't think God wanted robots. Like, if he wanted robots to love him, he would have just created that, right? Yeah. And I guess because we live in a fallen world, people make choices that are not always within the will of God and are horrific. But the way that God can use that to redeem you, and like my mom always says that, she says because she had no dad in her life, she has a stronger relationship with God. And she said it's because of that lack and that need that she was able to find that, you know, rest and find that identity in him. And it's not to say that we're thankful for those bad opportunities, but like, look how far God has brought you. Like, look how much he's done through your life. And like the fact that no one can even tell that just because of like the expression and enthusiasm on your face. Like, no one, I would never be able to tell that. And the fact that you are like that is showing people Christ. You may never ever have to say Jesus or say, you know, go out on like, what is it, Young and Eglinton with a Bible. But people see Jesus through your life. The fact that you said that and you're still standing, oof. What is my story? What is my testimony compared to that?
I don't want to cry.
No, like that's.
It's so weird that I actually said that. I haven't shared this like on audio. It's like so, because it's one of those things where you're like, you go through it, and of course you're gonna have regret, and it's like, how do I get past this? Wow. But the fact, like I said, that I'm still standing, I'm like, it has to be God. Yeah, it has to be him. Why I'm even still
in the natural. Right?
Yeah. Just like even living or talking to people or wanting other people to serve people. Like, I feel like that's one of my gifts, is serving people. Yeah. So I don't know. I just want people to feel good and better, and just know there's like a light.
You're awesome. You're awesome. So, one of your favorite quotes is, "Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life." So, okay, nice. I like that. So, how has that quote affected you in your life, and what does it mean to you specifically in your context?
So this quote, I heard this quote from my brother, and that's why his name is there. He's still alive.
Okay,
FYI.
Okay. I like how she had to add that.
He's still alive, because people, oh, is he? I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, he's alive. I put his name there. It's my brother Dave. He said that to me when I was 12 years. I was in grade 7. So I was at 12, 13, whatever age that is. I was in grade 7, and I don't know what we were talking about, but he just turned to me when he was just like, listen, midget. Oh, my nickname was midget. Sorry. I used to be short. So
what? Your nickname was midget? Wait. I'm like, okay, I can't let that pass. Your nickname was midget?
Growing up, my nickname was midget because I was very tiny. I was so short. And then puberty hit. Grade 11 was like, okay, you're growing. But yeah, so he said to me, he's like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Wow. And I never understood at the time. I was like, okay. Like I literally ignored him for like
Yeah.
years. I'm like, whatever. And then I got older, and I just literally randomly remembered he said that quote because I saw it somewhere else. No, it wasn't random. I saw it somewhere else, but it wasn't exact word for word. It was wow. It was kind of phrased differently.
Yeah.
But it evoked that memory, and then I was like, wow, I get it. And I went to the tattoo shop. I got a tattoo that day.
That's awesome. I like that. And I like people can see you do what you love. You enjoy it. Like,
I really, but it's work. You know what? It's so funny that even though it's my favorite quote, I'm like, it's a lie at the same time.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm doing what I love, it's work.
Yeah.
And I'm tired.
How do you deal with that burnout? Running a podcast, running a business, how do we even begin to deal with that?
I eat.
You eat and you sleep. It's like
no, I literally eat. Like I will bake. I'll wake up. I'm the haunted person because I love cooking.
Yeah.
I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and be like, I should make cookies. And I'll eat some obviously, but like I'll make a batch and just to give away.
Wow.
Like I'll bring them to work to
That's
my
awesome.
clients or like friends or whatever. I love baking for my friends.
Yeah.
Which you missed a house jam.
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
But it's okay.
Because
it's
burnout.
okay.
No, I'm joking.
I know. No, trust me. I understand. So like my healing is like, I guess self-care is like I cook. I do like to read. I enjoy reading. I enjoy buying books that I don't read. I'm a huge book hardcover book collector.
You always be like, 1 year I'm gonna read.
One year I'm gonna read 10 books,
like a
and I'm
cottage
like,
and just like be on a rocking chair. Like,
Indigo's in my bedroom, like fresh sealed. Like I go for walks. I actually genuinely think I'm so dope. Like I'm my own best friend. I have a best friend. I love her, Alicia.
I like that.
I love you, Alicia. But I'm actually my own best friend. Like I do so much dumb stuff by myself that I'm like, that I do in front of my best friend too.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I enjoy my own company. Like I take myself out on dates. And when I say dates, I mean like the movies. I don't go to dinner. Like I'm not a psychopath. I'm joking. If you do that, no judgment. But like, yeah, I'll go for lunch or something, but like I love my own company. Like I think I'm hilarious.
Wow.
Like when I'm singing in my car, I'm like, yo, I'm fun.
I love that. No, it's true. And it's like even me, like even, just for a while, just being single, it's just like, I love taking care of me. I love waking up. I like doing stuff, no schedule and just taking care of me. I like how you said that because I always tell my youth, I'm like, date yourself, bro. Like date yourself so that when that person comes into your life, they're not like a hindrance and they're not your identity, but they're adding value to what you already are. Right?
Exactly. Oh, so, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a thing I heard too. You shouldn't go into a relationship 50-50. Like that's nonsense. It should be 100-100.
Yeah.
Like you should both add value. You both add value. You're not going to be going 100% perfect, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're both coming in almost complete. You're not expecting the other person to be your 50.
Yeah.
Because that's just pressure that's not necessary.
Yeah, for sure. So last question. If you could go back in time, what would you tell grade 9 Jodianne just about to enter high school? If you could warn her, hop in a DeLorean and give her a word of advice, what would be the most important thing you'd want to tell her?
Wow. I've thought about this so many times. It's so weird that you're asking this. I was so different. I was so insecure. It was like, I had no idea. I thought I was going to be like a bum. Like I really did. I would be a garbage man, a garbage woman. Not that that's a bad job. That's a very respectable job.
She's not rating garbage people out here.
But like, I thought I was going to amount to absolutely nothing. So I think I would tell myself, I go back in time, like, listen, don't watch these waste mans. Number one.
Yeah.
These waste teachers.
Facts.
It's going to be okay. You're enough. Know that it's okay to be you. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to be quiet.
Yeah.
It's okay to laugh. Don't dim your light because you're afraid that other people are going to judge you. Because I did that a lot.
That's powerful.
I dimmed everything.
Wow.
So I would say, just believe in yourself and take chances.
Yeah.
And even if you're scared, do it anyways. And I feel like if I did those things, I would be way more bold now. Yeah. But it's okay because I'm learning to be bold now. So that's what I would tell her.
Powerful. All right, so we're at the less serious part of the interview now. It's rapid fire. Okay. So the first thing that comes to your head, or alternate, or whatever. Like if I say Pepsi or Coke, and you just want to say like, I don't know, whatever, just say it.
Okay.
Pepsi or Coke?
Perrier.
Perrier. Advil or Tylenol?
None.
Apple or Android?
Apple, because I just switched.
Okay. Windows or Mac? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Mac.
Yeah, stupid, but I guess. Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro?
Premiere Pro.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Panda.
A panda. Well, she knew this answer so.
It's my favorite animal.
Toronto or Oshawa?
Toronto.
Oh. Favorite place you've traveled, local or international?
Paris.
Favorite creative director besides yourself?
Ava DuVernay. No, Issa Rae.
Okay.
Sorry, Issa Rae.
If you could do a podcast episode with any guest, no barriers to getting them, who would it be?
Issa Rae.
Issa Rae, okay.
Yeah.
Name a moment or time when you think about it, like you just cringe so hard. Like for me, it was my graduation speech when I made this horrible joke, and like every time I watch it, I have anxiety. But what's that moment for you?
Oh God. Oh, this panel that I did last year. I had to talk about the E-Project myself, and it was an amazing experience, but it was really hard to do. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite book you read or are reading right now?
Ooh, The Hate You Give.
The Hate You Give. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite song right now?
This is so bad.
You said you're a singer, so.
Bruno Mars and Cardi B.
I like that.
I should have said never would have made it by Marvin Sapp. But it's Cardi B. Oh my God.
Canon, Nikon, or Sony?
Canon and Sony.
Canon and Sony. Prime lens or zoom lens?
Prime.
Okay,
I love the Prime.
If you had to sing one song, line for line, to save your life, what would it be?
The first song I learned was Maya, Case of the X.
Okay. Name a moment where you felt deeply proud of yourself. Like you're just like, I'm so proud of you.
Starting the project, E-Project.
Who is one person that everyone should go right now and follow on Instagram or check them out?
Of course, Matt Da Silva.
Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Tristan Barracks, digital storyteller. O'Shane Howard, because you'll kill me. Like Leslie, Mr. KOA, the whole group.
I'll link the whole group because everyone has so many different handles. But if you could go back to a single point of your life, just to relive it for one day, what day would that be?
Oh, relive it?
Yeah.
We're going to go deep again, Matt.
These aren't really rapid, you know?
Relive a moment in life. A bad experience?
It could be a bad, if you want it to.
My abortion. I know everything happens for a reason, but I highly regret.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I would grab myself and be like, don't do it. Even though I was in certain circumstances, it was I literally thought I had no choice. Someone was gonna kill me. I was so I would don't do that. But I try not to still regret it to the point where I'm sick. Yeah. But if I really could do anything, it would be that.
Yeah. When you hear the phrase most influential person on your life, what do you think of right away?
My mom.
If there was a movie on your life, what would the title read? And then I'm going to ask you a follow-up.
The F? No, I'm joking.
I Go by Joe.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a dope movie.
Yeah, there you go. I Go by Joe.
Tristan's going to shoot it. It's going to be dope. And if they couldn't get you to play you, you were just too bougie and they couldn't book you, who is your lookalike or someone you'd want to play you? They don't have to be a lookalike, but whatever.
Who's loud? Who's Gabrielle Union?
Gabrielle Union. Okay.
I feel she could do a good job. Yeah.
If you could have, it says coffee, but if you could have hot water and lemon, because that's what she's doing. So I come in, she's like, "Do you have tea?" And I'm like, "I have orange pico," and she gives me the dirtiest look. Orange pico is not even part of the tea group. So she's like, "Can I have hot water?" I'm like, "Okay." And then I go downstairs. She's like, "Can I have lemon?" And I'm like, "I better find a lemon in this house because I'm gonna feel horrible." And then finally,
I said, "Please." I said,
no, she was nice. She was nice. I'm joking. If you could have lemon hot water with anyone from any point in history, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh. Josephine Baker.
Okay. Top 3 podcasts that you listen to that you would recommend to someone.
Okay, so for funny, it would have to be The Friend Zone. It's called Thirst. Oh gosh, Thirst. Gary V's. No, sorry. I take that back. I rebuke that name. Jesus. Sorry. I don't know. I don't listen to Gary V's podcast because it's too disgusting. Let me start over. So The Friend Zone.
Yeah.
Thirst Trap, I believe.
Yeah.
Oprah's Masterclass is really good.
Yeah.
Real Community Talks.
Yeah.
I feel like I listen to more, but that's all I can think of the top of my head.
Is it weird that I stopped listening to podcasts? Because it's not that I don't want to take them in. It's just, I guess I've been like, I want to take them in, but I don't want to take them in lackadaisically. But like, I
don't
feel
listen
bad.
to entrepreneur. I listen to a lot of comedy and more like
good.
not like what's going on
Outside
in culture
of your field
and the
thing,
read. Oh, the read is so good. A lot of cussing, but it's just funny and it kind of gets me out of my head.
Like I'll take in yours. I'll take in like this guy I follow. He kind of gives like churches like good ministry advice and stuff like that, like from a social media perspective. But it's like I don't know. I kind of reverted back a bit to YouTube, like kind of audio like that. Like not that I'm playing it in my car type thing, but I don't know. I kind of like seeing the visuals too. But maybe I gotta. Wow.
Impact
the
Theory.
podcaster. Yeah. Oh yeah. I heard that one. Yeah. And what's that other one? There's like Lore. There's like a bunch of like all of them are really popular. I can't remember. Anyways, name a song that when you hear it, like it puts you in your feelings, like light skin type of feeling, like O'Shane type of feeling. No, I'm joking.
Bruno Mars, Just the Way You Are.
Okay. I hope O'Shane doesn't kill me. He's not gonna actually want to come on my podcast. I already booked him, but
I know he told me.
Yeah, if you were stranded on an island, what 2 things would you want with you?
No, because I could make that.
It's kind of like your question you ask on yours. What
yeah, what's the? I know, right? What would I bring with me? A comb?
A comb?
Like a pick comb. You know? Deodorant? No, I don't know.
No one's gonna care if you're stranded and by yourself.
Yeah, and there's food on the island and fruits and stuff, so I can cook, right?
I never described the island like that. I'm joking.
Oh my god, this is really hard.
You're about to leave your house. You grab 2 things. What are they?
My iPhone knowing me. And my charger.
And your charger. There you go.
No, a pen and paper. A pen and a notebook.
So now you got to buy a solar powered charger. So just
literally,
in case, you know?
a pen. In all seriousness, I'd bring a pen. No, a pencil. Pen runs out. A pencil, a notebook, and a book I can read.
Okay. What style did you rock that you look back now and wish you never rocked? You see pictures and you're cringing.
Oh my god! I used to. I remember I got teased. I would like really. It wasn't because I was black. It was weird. I was that weird kid growing up. Like because I grew up in Oshawa. I didn't start listening to black music until like grade 10.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know who Usher was.
Really?
Until like grade 9.
Wow.
I didn't know what BET was till grade 9.
Yeah.
I didn't have cable.
What is Oshawa doing to our black community out here?
So like I was a huge like video game skater girl.
Oh, that's awesome though.
Anime like heavy.
Like One Piece. All
yeah. So like I'd slick my hair back. I put this like pearl blue eyeshadow because I don't know why I was trying to get into the girly stage and like just the line of my lid, not even just here, and I would like have 2 horns coming down like I was like Hanson or something. Like it was so bad. It was bad.
Favorite food of all time?
Ooh, it's hard because I can cook. I love oxtail. I love oxtail. I can't even. Yeah, I love oxtail.
What job would you be horrible at?
What job would I be horrible at? Cleaning a stable. Because I don't want to.
First was the panda, and then it was so specific, like cleaning a stable.
Yeah, I don't want to, because that smell, the fumes when you're black, your hair
true.
Traps in smells.
Last one. Okay. When you die, when people remember, nah, I'm not trying to kill you. When you die, what would you want your biggest legacy that you leave behind to be? Like when people remember Jodianne, what would you want them to say about you?
I want them to say that I hope I do this, or I do this. I impacted lives.
Yeah. By
sharing stories.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I like that. So you survived rapid fire. So it's guest corners now. So this is your opportunity to shout out anything you have going on, shout out any people or whatever you want to do, or maybe even just give a last word of encouragement to our listeners and our viewers. The mic is yours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Last words of encouragement. Oh, things that are going on. Sorry. Yeah. So things that are going on. Well, recently I had done a few months ago for Black History Month, I did narration for Viola Desmond. That was like an amazing opportunity. That's awesome. With Ryerson University. Yeah. So basically that will be broadcasted through schools across Canada. That's what they want to do.
Congrats.
So when you hear, thank you. So when you hear the stories of historical Black entrepreneurs, I narrated Viola Desmond.
So
yeah, so that's something that so far this year, that's probably the biggest thing
that
I'm really proud of. Words of encouragement. I guess I would say be fearless. Don't allow your fear to overshadow your greatness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's quotable. Like when I hear that, I was just, that's quotable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps it up for our show today. I'm going to leave everything, links and everything Jodianne has going on in the description and our website. But one thing I like to do at the end of my show is give you guys a word of encouragement, because you guys are hardworking, and sometimes you don't slow down to hear it. And sometimes, like, even being like, I'm sure as an introvert person, sometimes like you'll hear it, but like you just don't want to hear it sometimes. But like I said, like when I was talking about, like you were getting into your story, like your enthusiasm and your character, in spite of being shy and introverted, like I feel like people want to connect and meet you because you give off a vibe that isn't always communicated in words. And like that is the most, like I know it's like so like lame, like people have it like that, you know, they're a Christian when they have like relationship over religion in like their bio, or like Romans 8:28. But like no, it's so true though, because like people will know you more so by your actions. I know it's cheesy, actions speak louder than words, but like people want to get to know you. Like I wanted to come to the live event, not so much just for like the e-project, but I'm like, I wanted to like see her in action, meet her in person. So like that is a powerful thing when you can give off a vibe and never have to even say anything, right? I just think that the fact that, you know, you were able to just be open and transparent and talk all about that stuff, which you didn't have to, like, one, I'm honored that you did it on my show, but two, like, I don't know whoever's listening to it right now, but I'm sure someone's like literally like sobbing in their bed or in their car, or like as they're putting it on their Bluetooth speaker in their shower, because like your life is powerful. Your life is a testimony and a message on its own, and I think that people's lives are really going to be changed. And lastly, like I said it in the beginning and I say it now, like I'm so grateful to you for the sacrifices you made and the consistency you had. And like we'd message each other once in a while and you're like, how do you even stay consistent, and this is this, like I'm living off of like people who've tried, like, you know, what was that word, like they've made the journey before me. So like I'm so blessed to see a model that worked and try to replicate it in my own way. So, you know, like I said, guys, you have to be grateful to this woman because she did it and she inspired other people. And I've even heard, like, I've had that myself, where people have been inspired to start a podcast from me. And it's like, think about the exponential impact. If you inspired me and then I inspired someone else, you're partly still responsible for inspiring, you know, those people too.
That's crazy.
Right? So I just wanted to say how blessed we are. It's so good to be back, guys. It's so good to start off season 2 with Jodianne. And like I said, everything's going to be in the description, so you better check her out. Don't be waste. But this is us signing out. Peace.
Bye.